TV has done something super cool and interesting that I like. I don't like, it's pathetic, but I admire the initiative. Um, they've made all these movies, all this stuff about utopian, dystopian, destroyed future, all this stuff, and we watch all these movies, and it's these worst outcomes of the future, right? And they've been doing it for a long time. You can go all the way back to like the book 1984, you know, and you could say that they published and promoted that book. I don't know if George Orwell was actually hired to write it, but either way, they definitely promoted it after he wrote it, because our minds are so strong, our words are so strong. We can make spells with our words. There's no other way to describe it. Our words have power, and our thoughts have power. So all of us thinking about all these dystopian, destroyed, horrible futures of, you know, all the Will Smith movies and all the Armageddons and stuff, we're actually creating we're willing it into existence. We can will our world into whatever existence we want, and they've totally used that against us in order to make us will the future that they want. It's so cool. It's so smart, so genius. And then so then they've done that so that I think we need to do the opposite. We need to start making our own story of a utopian future, something that's just beautiful, where all mankind, you know, where race and all that stuff is just not even thought of, and where there isn't religions, we just actually are presented with all information, and everybody with a level, straight, flat mind deciphers that information to the best of our ability, and then we stop. You know, we could theorize a little more, but we understand that those are theories, these are facts, and we stop at the facts as far as schooling goes and stuff like that, and leave the theories outside of our realm. And now we obviously want to think about those things, and there'd be people who would want to aspire their whole lives to that, and that would be great. But I think there's some kind of existence for mankind between like what we have now and what the Amish have now. Like there's some in between there where most towns could run more like Amish, food supply wise and all that stuff, and everybody could have that life choice of just chilling out, building a house, or living in your, you know, your grandparents' place because this is your family farm that you've lived on for generations, or whatever. Or if you wanted to spend your life as an academic, or devote your life to the Torah, which is a wonderful option, because all science leads to the Torah. Like, I know that people are going to say, biased religion, right? But it's not based. Watch my other videos. It's not biased. It's all science. I can only learn by figuring things out thoroughly. I have to, in order to learn mathematical equations, I had to make them equal A, B, and C. And then that way I could remember, understand, and thoroughly work through them. That's why I'm a good mechanic, because I take things apart and I put them back together, and then I retain the information. If you tell me illogicies that don't have background information that don't make sense, like things like OUGH can do whatever it wants for no apparent reason, and it can make any sounds and be any word and do all kinds of crazy whatever. And you say why, and they have no explanation that makes a logical flow of events. There's no flow chart there. Or Fahrenheit, same thing. It's just arbitrary numbers. I can't retain that. My brain won't keep that. So I always rejected religion. But then when I actually looked into the science and I learned all of the earth science, like the geologic timescale, carbon dating, radiometric dating, and all that stuff, and how glaciers are formed, and what goes on there in terms like desertification and all this stuff, I learned that everything leads to the Bible. Nothing leads to billions of years and all this. Like, even in the heliocentric science, like when you look at the universe, if the universe was millions of years old, Saturn wouldn't have rings, Pluto would be cooled down, and there's all these limiting factors. There's millions of them, and that are everywhere. If it came from a Big Bang, everything would be spinning in the same direction, and everything would be separated and evenly distributed. There wouldn't be clusters of galaxies and stuff like that. There would be unit space, unit all the way around, and the same space around each unit, everywhere, all the way around the explosion, everything getting further from the source, and every piece of particle getting further from each other, and every particle spinning in the same direction. Those are laws, man. Like that, you can't break those laws because you want your Big Bang Theory to work. Just throw your stupid theory in the garbage, because it doesn't work. It's physically impossible. Our universe's definition, it is a closed system defined by laws, and you can't go and break those laws and have just to have your theory work. You need to adhere to the laws. Anyway, so we all come to a true religion of truth and a true fashion of schooling of truth and a way of living of truth. And really, if you did that properly, by the time a kid hit third grade, you'd be able to divide them by how they learn a little bit. And you could say, well, this kid is really gifted at psychology and things of that nature, so let's put him in the same class with these other kids that are also gifted in those kind of fields, and then these kids over here are really gifted at understanding scientific method, and so let's, separate them a little bit. And these kids are really good with their hands, so let's put them into trade schools, or whatever, and really focus. And maybe not third grade, but whatever, very young. You wouldn't have to go into 7 and 8 and 9. It's repetitive knowledge by that time anyways. You're just relearning the same hashed over shit, and most of it is just that. It's just shit. It's lies. So you could really help to encourage kids to grow in the fields that they should and teach them the ways that they should. Or some kids might make it to grade 6 and just go work on the farm for the rest of their lives or whatever. Man, that's I want to be, right? I want to learn more. I love philosophy and reading books and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't really want to go reinvent the egg or anything like that. I don't have those aspirations to go and do that stuff. I do like inventing little things, like I try to make perpetual energy machines and things like that, but that's only so that I can farm better, not so that I can change the world or so that I could get rich. I have no aspiration to be rich. My personality wouldn't handle it anyways. It would go to my head, I would think. And I don't think in a new world anybody would be rich or poor. Like, there's no need of it. Our entire society could fit in Alaska and have 1,000 square feet each, and the rest of the world would be empty of mankind. So there's lots of room for farming and agriculture and animals and people and everything. We just got to do it right. We do it wrong. We do it so that a few people can get rich, not so that everybody can live happy, right? So this utopian world that we have to all get into our minds and start focusing on and bring it into existence, that kind of shit can't happen. And I know a lot of people, oh, don't fucking fight capitalism. Oh my God, that's communism or whatever, right? But no, it's not that either. Let's get rid of isms. Because isms divide, right? Everything about our culture is divide and conquer. So we need to stop playing into it. And this is a fantasy. That's all we're doing. We're just all coming up with a fantasy in our minds. We're not gonna do this. We're just gonna think about it all the time. Everybody's gonna add to it. Have that thought in your mind when you go to bed at night and your fucking thoughts are flipping through your head. Write an extra script. Write some log, write some dialogue. Think about how things would be. What would be on television? What would it be like to watch an actual show all about life and times of Noah or whatever, you know, Abraham, Isaac, or what else would be on television? You know, whatever. Think about all kinds of things like that. What would you do with your life if you were raised that way? How would your life be different? Where would you be? Who would you be? What would they have noticed about you as a kid? Go talk to people, find that stuff out if they're around, if they're still alive. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you alone. Good day.